Hey guys, it's your humble host, or Rekieta if you prefer. So I am back with the Save James update, and it's not a good one at all. So just to kind of give you guys a refresher, there was a hearing on July 2nd, and there hadn't been a ruling for over a month now. We had put out the court hearings, the recordings of them, and it looks like something happened behind Jeff Younger's back. And his lawyers, as we saw, and the last hearing kind of dropped the ball, and they really dropped the ball, and I'm not sure why or how this happened. I have my own speculations, but I will keep them out of this video. I want to show you what I got my hands on, because this is something pretty major. So as you guys know, Anna's been asking for particular things for quite a while and always been told no. So this was filed behind Jeff Younger's back. So this was rendered on August 3rd of 2021. Motion to compel all objections to Jeff Younger to the motion for production are overruled. Mr. Younger ordered to produce all these responsive documents by August 15th, 2021 at 5 p.m. So these are all the documents he was supposed to produce during the last hearing, but there was a motion to quash, which was supposed to have nullified all of that, but yeah. Mr. Younger is ordered to pay $1,000 as attorney's fees and sanctions to MS Georgilis on or before August 15th of 2021. Now, I see, because there's some typos in this as well, so I don't know if that's supposed to be 1,000 or 100,000, as you'll see the typos here. But let's continue. Motion for enforcement. The court makes the following findings and orders. Mr. Younger failed to timely make the payments of child support, which is bullshit because those were processing orders or errors. Medical support and interest as ordered, and only paid past his due support after the motion for enforcement was filed. Judgment awarded to Ms. Georgilis against Mr. Younger for $3,500 in attorney's fees, costs, and expenses as a result of having to bring the motion. Said judgment to be paid as additional child support by Mr. Younger by August 15th of 2021. Further temporary orders. Due to Mr. Younger's unwillingness and inability to follow the order designed to serve the best interests of the children, everything that has been asked for and the court orders has been in the best interest of Anne Georgilis and her prize. The court finds that it is necessary for the health and safety of the children that Mrs. Georgilis have the following exclusive rights on a temporary basis. Temporary, yeah. The exclusive right to establish the primary residence of the children within Dallas County. The exclusive right to consent to medical, dental, surgical treatment involving invasive procedures. And this is where they kind of placate Jeff. Listen to this. Except that neither parent may treat a child with hormonal suppression therapy, puberty blockers, and/or transgender reassignment surgery, if any, without the consent of the parents or a court order. Now notice what is not in there is social transition therapy. So there's social transition and then there's physical transition. Notice how social transition is not in there. So Anne will still be allowed to socially transition James. And she's been trying to do that for quite a few years now. The exclusive right to consent to psychiatric and psychological treatment of the children, aka alienate the boys from each other and try to alienate them from Jeff. The exclusive right to receive and give receipt for child support, which Anne makes tons of money and she's backed by the trans lobby, so this is just another way to financially cripple Jeff. The exclusive right to consent to all medications to be given to the children except those medications that are addressed in number 2 above. So there has been talk that Anne has been trying to stick James on medication for ADHD. So yeah, and she's been trying to do that behind Jeff's back. The exclusive right to represent the children in legal action and to make other decisions of substantial legal significance concerning the children. The exclusive right to consent to marriage and enlistment in the armed forces of the U.S. The exclusive right to make decisions concerning the children's education, including but not limited to enrollment in school. So Pinkerton Elementary is a girl, as her delusional child Luna, which does not exist. The exclusive right to make decisions concerning the children's haircut. So she's been trying to feminize James for a very long time. This is part of that BS. the exclusive right to the services and earnings of the children. AKA, she's been trying to go after the fundraiser money, and now the judge is letting her, which is total other crap. The exclusive right to act as an agent of the children in relation to the children's estates if the children's actions is required by a state, the U.S., or a foreign government. The exclusive right to manage the estates of the children to the extent the estates have been created by community property or the joint property of the parents. So, AKA, this talks about the fundraiser again. The exclusive right to sign the children up for extracurricular activities, aka she's going to try to sign James up as Luna wherever she can. She already did some sneaky shit with the Cub Scouts. Excuse me, I'm trying not to swear because of where this is getting posted, but she's already done this with a few other places. Family systems counseling with Dr. Threes and children's counseling with Dr. Fletcher remain as previously ordered, and both parents are ordered to continue to participate and comply with the recommendations of the treating professionals. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Susan Fletcher. That woman has made lies against Jeffrey Younger, saying how the boys are scared of Jeff, this and that, and how James wants to be called Luna when it's complete opposite. So they're trying to push this narrative that James wants to be Luna when James has fully expressed to not only the counselor, but to those he knows that he wants to be James, a boy, Jeff, Damian Younger's son, and a brother to his twin, Jude. Injunction granted as either party posting or allowing to be posting any information regarding the children's doctor's appointments, counseling appointments, mental health appointments, school schedule or school details, or extracurricular activities to persons other than the parents in the case of their attorneys. So pretty much saying, oh, well, Jeff can't speak out if Anne goes behind his back and signs up James as Luna or does anything else, because something else I'm going to tell you, because you know what, gloves are off. So we've been abiding by the rules for quite a while, and things kind of went quiet. So let me tell you something else, because James and Jude love football, okay? They love flag football. So it got to the point to where James was signed up for football, and Jeff did not know. So when it was told to Jeff where James was going to be playing football, Anne did not let James go. She does not want Jeff around, period. Remember how she kept saying how she wanted to co-parent with Jeff back in October 2019? Yeah, that's a bunch of bull. She wants to control the narrative. She wants to brainwash her kids. She wants to socially transition James, not to mention physically transition him. She is backed by the freaking trans lobby and also Children's Health. If you guys remember, that is the same place that now she's tied to and even rebranded her pediatric clinic as, who is doing studies on children with quote-unquote gender dysphoria. She has ties to the trans lobby, and not to mention you had one or two members of the HRC show up to the October 2019 hearing. I don't have the names of the members, but yeah, she had a couple of particular individuals there at that hearing just clinging to her side. They look like a freaking mutated flock of birds, if you ask me. They all stuck together. In the prior orders that Mrs. Georgelis must notify Mr. Jeff or Mr. Younger of doctor's counselings or mental health appointments or extracurricular activities for the children are lifted. So meaning Anna can do whatever the heck she wants now. She doesn't have to consult Jeff. She doesn't have to tell Jeff about it, regardless of what it is. In an effort to ensure that the emotional well-being and physical safety of the children, the court orders that all of Mr. Younger's possession period shall be continuously supervised by forensic counseling services at Mr. Younger's sole cost and expense. So in order for him to see his children, he must now pay. Said possession period shall be according to this or a similar schedule shall begin immediately and last until a substantial change in circumstances has occurred, aka meaning, well, Jeff, if you just shut up and let us do what we want with your children, then maybe you can see them. Maybe you can have proper custody of them. You know how messed up this is? This is beyond corrupt. And this is the schedule, Wednesday 6 to 8, first, third, both parents are to complete all necessary intake forensic counseling, which Anne is it can be required to do freaking jack all, as last time, within 15 days so that the visits may begin. So they're going to keep the boys away from Jeff for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay? And then if Jeff complies, he'll possibly be able to see them with supervised visitation that he has to pay out of pocket. And they're trying to go after the Give, Send, Go, which the court sees as earnings of the children. No. The court finds that this case remains a high conflict case, and in light of the above changes temporary orders, the court finds that the appointment of Stacey Dunlap as amicus is necessary to ensure, oh yeah, that freaking clown, the safety and welfare of the children and that their best interests are being served. No. See, let me remind you of that particular person. So during the October 2019 hearing, he had my respect until he opened his mouth at the very end and told the jury, told everybody in that courtroom, oh, Ann Georgelas is not abusing her son. When in fact, she is, and I can tell you for a fact that the boys, both James and Jude, are scared of Ann. That is a fact. And the fact that Ann has gone out of her way, this has been something that's been going on since 2015. I came onto this 2018 through 2019. So I've been on with this for over 2 years. And I have learned much from it. I have learned much from other cases that I've been following or helped to cover. So this, no. I liked him at first till he opened his mouth at the end. This is just another freaking clown, and this was an amicus attorney personally appointed by Judge Kim Cooks. Best interests are being served. Both parents are ordered to pay a $5,000 retainer for the services of Mr. Dunlap by August 15, 2021, and pay 50% of the amicus fees thereafter. So that's pretty much what it is in a nutshell. Everything that Ann Georgelas has been asking for is suddenly granted, and this was done behind Jeff's back. So Jeff was not aware of this filing. Nobody knew anything for a month on his end. And now all of a sudden, when he goes to do FaceTime with his boys earlier this evening, he gets told, oh, well, our lawyers or my lawyers won't allow for FaceTime at all. This is how he found out about something being filed. So he called his lawyers and they said, yeah, something was filed and it's way worse than supervised visits. They didn't even tell him. Remember how bad they were during the last hearing? What the heck are these people doing? So it's now gotten to a point to where Jeff can't even find competent lawyers. Who else does that sound like? What other case sounds like that? Anyway, I wanted to give you guys this update, and I also wanted to advertise. So for those of you who follow Eric Carroll, he's known in the Dad Talk. He is going to be having a show tomorrow, and let me pull up the times because there's different times here. So, and I will post his YouTube in the link in the description. He also has a Facebook page. So it's going to be 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain Time, and then 9 Pacific Time. So that is tomorrow again with Eric Carroll of the Dad Talk, where he's going to be going more into depth with Jeff Younger. That is 12 Eastern, that is 11 Central, that is 10 Mountain Time, and 9 Pacific. This is also a public outcry. So, and I'm trying not to get emotional here, but I need anybody who has a big following to cover this, please. And this is my public outcry to Rekieta Law, because he just did an interview with Michael Long, and he's been starting to cover this. And here is my request. Here's my public request. Nick, I need you to get Jeff Younger on your show because of what just happened. I will DM you any information I can. I will give you this latest document, but I need you to get this man on your show. I don't know if you've already tried to make contact, but please, everybody get this video to Rekieta Law. I've DM'd Nick, I have tagged him, and he's very busy. There's a lot that he deals with, plus his law firm. So please, 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 I am asking everybody who is familiar with Rekieta Law, and even if you're not, to bug the living crap out of him. Because Rekieta knows how to go through stuff. He is actually one of the very few, or actually one of the lawyers that I respect here on YouTube. And he very much has brought this up time and time again. And I know there's a lot to cover, And there's a lot to say about this case, and it can take hours and hours and hours, but he's familiar with it enough, and so I'm asking you publicly, get this man on your show. Sorry. I've been with this for 2 years, so let me reiterate some of the things that I personally observed when I went down to Texas over a little under 2 years ago. So I went and covered the hearing. I have all the notes from the hearing. James very much wants to be James. And when I first introduced myself to him, I didn't call him by his name. I just say, hey, kiddo, my name's Caleb. What's yours? And he goes, hey, my name's James. And he looks over his shoulder as he's walking by me and goes, yeah, James. So that was the first indicator. I took photos and videos without the boys knowing that they're being videotaped. I have one of Jeff and James playing together naturally. They don't even know they're being videotaped. I was able to observe the FaceTime with Jeff Younger versus the FaceTime with Ann Georgelis. It's night and day. I wrote about it. Unfortunately, that article is no longer up because I can't pay for that service anymore, but pretty much in a nutshell, we had gone to a Greek festival that day. And the call with Ann between James and Jude didn't even last 5 minutes. So they went upstairs and I quietly followed behind. I did not videotape because I felt it was too personal to videotape. And pretty much this was what was said, is that James was telling Mom what he ate that day and just practically food. And then he hands the phone over to Jude and he presses a button to get the FaceTime back up. And Jude just goes quiet. He doesn't want to say anything to her. And I hear from Ann, it's okay if you don't want to talk to me. And the phone call ends literally a few seconds later. They don't want to talk to Ann. They want nothing to do with her. She does not treat them as Jeff's sons. So the phone call or the FaceTime that I observed with Jeff was the very first night. And this is when me, Jeff, and Gwen, his fiance, and Alan Eccles, who has been deceased, and God rest his soul, we were all sitting down to dinner, and James calls to speak with his dad. So, and they're excited. They're talking about sumo. The phone is kind of shut on to show that, hey, who is Daddy with? And then Jeff gets up, and he's gone for another 5 to 10 minutes. And he sits back down, and the call ended when Ann entered the room, or Ann made James end the call. But anyway, it is a night and day difference. I have been around these boys. Now, it's been over 2 years, but when I did go, they had action figures. They very much wanted to mimic their dad. James kept dressing like his dad. Oof. And one of the things that stood out to me, because there was one night I didn't think I was going to see them again. And so I pretty much told James, because they had to kick me out of the house because I legally couldn't be there while the boys were staying there. It was Jeff's weekend for the boys. So I had to go stay somewhere else for the next few days. So, and I thought that was the last night I was going to see them. So I had turned to James and I'm like, hey, kiddo, you know who you are. Oof. And he goes, I love you. So, and I'm not trying to get emotional, and I know people like, you're too emotionally invested or too much involved. And it's not that I'm too much involved. There's just a lot I can relate to with this case, parent alienation, my mom tried to do it with me, and the fact that I have seen, again, so much stuff that my dad went through. Damn it. Anyway, so much stuff my dad went through that I was able to see Jeff mimic the same way. So, as I said, and I'm trying to, there we go. As I said, this is a matter of life and death with these two boys, because James is her prize child that she's trying to transition, and she treats Jude like crap when he doesn't go along with stuff. I mean, she treats them both like crap. And I know this has gone on for a while, But this is my public outcry. Anybody who has a big following, and this is especially to Rekieta Law, please get this man on your channel. This situation is now dire. The fact that they're willing to do stuff behind Jeff's back, and I don't know why his lawyers, I have my speculations as to why his lawyers were notified of the filing, didn't turn around and file something, even if they didn't notify Jeff. I don't understand. They're all in on this stuff. As we saw with the live streams last night with Rekieta Law, the audio with Charity, the stand-in lawyer for Michael Long, that they're all friends. These people are freaking friends with each other. So it's a nasty spiderweb, but please, for the love of God, get this out to anywhere you can. Just please, because this situation is now freaking dire. And if Anne is allowed to destroy these two boys, it's going to eventually result in their demise. It really is. No child should be put through this whatsoever. Kids should be let to be kids and have a normal childhood, and not this crap. I will see you guys in the next one, and we will not shut up. We will not go away, and we're not done.